friends all know that I'm cool. I've been this way since high school. Cause life's never been sweeter when you're just a cake eater. When it comes to hockey, nobody can stop me. My high school team, I was playing on the top 3.
Welcome to the Youth Hockey Up High School Hockey Podcast, brought to you by Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. Joined with me in studio, the talented Tony Scott.
Thank you, Danny. Good to be here.
And Carl, you're joining us on the phone up there.
Yeah, am I not talented? Do I not get a description like that?
No talent.
Fine.
Just brains, no talent.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, did you win anything skiing this weekend?
No, so when you go skiing across a lake and it's 55 degrees out, it's actually not especially fun. It's very
Well,
wet.
you won that you didn't die, so you're a winner.
Yeah, he's a winner.
Sure, yeah.
Did you get
I guess that
did you,
counts. Yeah.
did you get a participation T-shirt?
Yep, all that matters. So
You're a winner. You millennials, you're all winners.
Winners.
You're all winners.
Okay, well, let's talk about some winners and losers with some games that happened in the past. We're going to kind of buzz through this because we got a lot to talk about on today's show, especially with sections coming out. So let's talk about some games that had some pretty important section implications, as we realize.
Yeah, in hindsight, very important.
Moorhead beats Bemidji 3-1.
And that hurt Bemidji.
I mean, Bemidji went from the possible
2-3
to a 5. So this was a big game for them. Moorhead seems to be rolling. They haven't lost to a team by more than a goal this season. And you look at them, and they're playing pretty good hockey right now. They've beaten some good teams. They beat Hill this weekend in overtime. They beat Rapids recently. They beat Bemidji.
Yeah, they're for real. They're a legit top 10 team, and they're super young. Their best players are sophomores and juniors. So can only imagine what it looks like. And their Bantam team is a top 10 team. The future is bright for the Spuds.
If they make it to the tournament, I feel right now they can steal a game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, next game. Carl, you were at this one. Cloquet dominates Grand Rapids 4-1. Shots were 44-28. Was it even close, Carl?
It wasn't, and this was one of the most fascinating games I've seen all year. You know, 'cause you go in there and you expect, okay, Grand Rapids won the first meeting between these two 7-1. Sure, they've been struggling a little bit, but you know they should take care of Cloquet. The first period, Cloquet comes out, has a good job. They outshoot Rapids, but scoring chances are fairly even. But then in the second period, Cloquet just turns it on and takes over this game. Rapids can't break out to get their lives, and the Cloquet has four goals on the board. You know, you just blink and the game was over, and so this was just a fascinating game to watch.
There was a someone brought this up on the message board, and I think it's super like unheralded, unknown topic, and it's the Jamie Langenbrunner effect. Jamie is an unbelievable coach, and he's a very, very determined individual. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And he can raise the level of play for just about anyone. He could make a Squirt B team look like a Squirt A team. I mean, he's the kind of guy who can bring a team up. And if he's in the building, because he does a lot, he scouts. He's employed by the Boston Bruins, so he's out and about working for the Bruins in developmental. He coaches the Bantam AA team. He's involved with the high school program.
Yep.
He's got because Mason, his youngest son, is an 8th grader. He's got a 5-year run in Cloquet right now. That's going to be. He will have a big impact on Cloquet hockey the next 5 years. That purple jersey you bought, it will go up in value over the next 5 years.
Good. What is that? Equity?
It's got equity. The equity is growing.
Okay, next game that we want to talk about. Benil beats St. Louis Park 4-1. This kind of helped 6 AA, right, fall into line with
place.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we're going to see this game again on Thursday. I will probably be at this game on Thursday, I'm thinking, just because of the Snow-Nami that's coming our way, and it's not that far away from my place, so it kind of makes it easy.
There's a lot of good games on Thursday. This is going to be a good one.
This one's going to be a good one because it's played at home ice for both teams, and you know that both sides' crowds are going to be involved, and that's what makes a 4-5 matchup a lot of fun.
There's going to be a lot of good 4-5s. I think this is one of them. Not as good as the Bemidji one. But
I'm not driving up to Bemidji Brainerd.
It's Brainerd.
Yeah.
We're going to be there. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
It's going to be great.
Okay, and the last game I want to address is the Stillwater 3, Holy Family 1. If you look at the box score of 56 to 22 shots, you would think that that was Stillwater, but it was Holy Family. Holy Family did a great job defensively, keeping things off the board, and just creating a lot of offensive zone time. But give it to Seth Isley. He had a great game.
Yeah, he was remarkable in the Nets. I thought, and we talked about this in our broadcast last night in the EP game. I thought the shot clock guy was from Braemar because I thought the numbers were a little bit swayed a little bit. But at the end of the day, I did think Holy Family carried the play. I thought Holy Family was the better hockey team.
Yeah,
they didn't win the game, but I thought that they outplayed them. And credit goes to both goalies. I don't think Jared Moe cost them the game.
No.
I thought both goalies were the story of the game.
And both goalies made some unbelievable saves in this game. And I think both teams did not want to lose this game because they kind of felt the importance of the game. But really looking at it, it wasn't like last year's game where last year's game was chippy between the two teams. And last year's game was close too. So I really thought the game was tied when Holy Family pulled their goaltender. Like I thought it was still tied because it felt like it was tied, and it felt like Holy Family was still like going to win somehow. So it was really weird for me.
I thought it was great. Carl, did you watch the game?
No, I didn't, but I did watch Stillwater on Thursday night, though, and when they were tied with White Bear for 2 periods, then pulled it out in the third. And so they're doing a good job of winning these close, late, important games. They had a really important week this past week because there have been some questions about Stillwater, but they came out looking pretty good.
I think Stillwater ends up looking a lot better. I think that maybe that victory last night maybe gets them in, and that maybe gets them into a seeded situation.
Yeah, depending who shows up, and we'll talk about the Elk Grand Rapids showdown. But I mean, you got a lot of chips that need to fall in line for them to get, maybe a 3 seed.
Correct.
But I see them getting a 3 seed or a 5 seed. I don't see a lot of between.
It could
there.
be weird.
It's going to be weird. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Okay, that's kind of the games that we want to talk about because games in the past don't matter anymore.
No. Everybody's 0-0.
Well, except for some teams like Forest Lake just beat Cambridge Isanti, and so Cambridge Isanti's 0-1 and they're done.
Yes.
But now let's talk about a little bit. Carl, you wrote a great article about section seating and how weird this is. Let's just put it that way, because we look at 7 and 8 AAs. What happened here? This doesn't make everybody is kind of up in arms about this, and I believe that 7 kind of fell into line the way Rapids kind of put it into line.
Yeah. Go ahead, Carl.
I don't disagree, and but whether we think that way or not, the problem with the whole system is just it can be such a mess because it's bunch of coaches either emailing back and forth or meeting in a smoke-filled room somewhere and just having this debate and using all these different criteria. I mean, you can make all these arguments in all these different ways, especially in a section like 8AA where everyone played each other twice and all these confusing things that couldn't make logical sense. I mean, you could make 5 different arguments that make sense in that section, and so it's so hard to get any clarity out of that, and it's impossible to get any transparency out of that. So this article that I wrote was just a reaction to that, and then so it's looking for maybe a couple of ideas that have been floated out there of ways that we can make this better so that it's clearer and it makes more sense.
Yeah, there is definitely no rhyme or reason for it. Your article talked about, how it should be required that they play each other in sections. I think that's just going to be way too hard to pull off from a conference perspective. And I know you dismiss conferences. And I think we all unilaterally dismiss conferences and conference championships.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you can't just we're going to get rid of conferences for football and hockey, but we're going to keep them for baseball. We're going to keep them for track. I mean, it would be way too hard to legislate another sport without conferences.
Semi-conferences are important for rivalry games.
Yes.
That is sort of important, but it's just some of those Irondale versus anybody in that conference is not worth watching.
No, I think what would be great is if the conference could go down to 1-game conference play and then a 1-game section play. That would be a compromise between what Carl is saying and what is currently happening now. And I think that could happen. I mean, because Elk River Maple Grove play twice. That's a good game. But some of this stuff is just it's a complete waste of time. And teams are 2-for-1ing still. You know, like Benil 2-for-1 with Chaska. No, Jefferson 2-for-1 with Chaska.
Yeah.
Kennedy's 2-for-1ing. They don't want to play these games. What I mean by 2-for-1 is they count for 2 games in conference standings.
But here's the other thing. I think you could do that. You could do the conference and section, but you just got to make the conferences smaller then.
Yes.
Make
Yeah.
it like a 5-16
So huge.
conference.
Yeah, which gets into my beef about Cretin. You know, Carl's saying, well, look at all their victories. And I started looking through their victory list, and it was in a well-documented text string between the 3 of us. About 14 of their wins are in that conference with teams that I believe are on
Park Cottage Grove.
are in the second half of the LSQ, the QRF, or the Now Rankings. You
Yeah.
name it. I don't know how you look at it. Those are lower-level victories.
Yeah.
You know, then you toss in a side salad of Holy Angels and Blake, and now you have 16 wins for Cretin.
Yeah, and
right? So I think Wayzata and Benil play much tougher schedules. They should be given greater priority in that. Cretin, you did win the argument, Carl. Cretin did get the number 2
Yep.
seed.
But there's
Right,
something
yeah.
to be said about strength of schedule. Okay,
Yes.
and I got into an argument about this because strength of schedule is very important. You play in the lake, there is something to be said about playing in the lake. And this is what I was texting you guys, that when you play a tough schedule, it's like golf. You know, when you play for money, you play so much better in a tournament format than when you don't, when you're playing with your wife, okay?
Correct.
And when
Right.
you play off the tips with your wife, you aren't playing, golf. When
Exactly.
when you're playing a 1-1-1 game with your buddy, you're playing a lot better hockey.
I agree, and we had that discussion. And I'm not ripping on Cretin. I just
No.
don't think their schedule is as tough.
It's
as-
not
look
only
at Benil,
Cretin.
They play.
Yeah.
They play Eden Prairie twice.
It's not
They play a
just
much tougher
Cretin. It's
schedule.
not Cretin. You mix in their Holy Family schedule is weak with the Wright County Conference. You mix in a couple of things. There's a reason why schools went independent. You got Duluth East is independent. Rapids went independent. You have that type of mentality that I need to go independent so I
Get better games.
Yeah, and to get a better,
Gauge.
on my team. It's just, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So,
All right, so let's dive in. I
Let's
think you
talk
have the
about
double
this.
A's all queued up.
Yep.
Carl, by the way, great article.
Check it out.
We posted it on YHH. If you can't dig it through the
Twitter.
if you can't dig through the forum where he originally posted it, you could get the story on our site. I appreciated Carl giving me permission to post it. It was a great article
Yeah, of course.
for our readers.
Okay, first section that we want to talk about in depth, 1AA.
Do we have to go in depth?
Well, I think here's a good question. Lakeville North's going to win their game against Dodge County.
Yes.
Okay, like 20-0. But who's going to win the Century Owatonna game?
Owatonna lost to Century. I'm going back to Century.
Okay.
I know this from section seating. Sorry that I know that, but I do.
So they're the best Rochester school because the other Rochester school, John Marshall, is going to lose to Farmington.
And Mayo shouldn't even be in the playoffs. They had an awful year this year.
So is there any way, I'm just going to ask this, that it's not an all Lakeville final?
Yes, without a doubt.
That's what it's going to be.
It's not even close.
I will say this: Farmington gave Lakeville South a 1-goal game in their second meeting, so it's not completely impossible, but it's highly, highly likely this Lakeville final.
And Lakeville
This
South.
is not your Greg Mays Farmington.
The-
Okay? This is not I broadcasted
Yeah.
him. I've seen him 3 times this year. This team does not have the speed, does not have the talent. They have one of the best goaltenders in the state, but that's where it ends.
But still, Lakeville South lost to Rosemont on Saturday. 5-4.
And North lost to
Prior Lake.
Prior Lake.
Th-
So
this-
they're coming in hobbling.
Yeah, this is not a section that is going to be ranked.
No.
When they make the
Ladies
tournament.
and gentlemen.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, I'm going to end this there. It's going to be an all Lakeville final. We all agree. Tune in Rochester on Thursday the 2nd.
Yeah,
for it.
I have a person down in Rochester who will be tweeting both the 1AA and 1A stuff all tournament long. So I'm excited to have someone there.
Yeah, prove us wrong.
Yes.
Other teams in this section, but this is going to be a Lakeville. Okay, Chaska Prior Lake and 2AA. This is the 4-5 matchup. This is a pretty good one.
Prior Lake
Prior Lake?
by 3.
Prior Lake.
Prior Lake, okay.
I Prior Lake's quietly doing pretty well towards the end of the season here.
Yeah, that is very true. Minnetonka Chan, Tonka, coming out of that one in the 3-6.
I fell asleep and you're still talking about this.
And
When you say 2AA, all I think is Holy Family Eden
Prairie,
Holy
Family Eden Prairie.
You say Minnetonka or Chaska, I just start to fall asleep.
Yeah, and so Holy Family's going to come out of their Shakopee matchup. Okay, so we got Eden Prairie we're predicting versus Prior Lake, right? This is
Hang on, if Holy Family had 55 shots on Stillwater, how many shots can they put up
against Shock.
against Shakopee?
Can they
could go
play
over 100?
Can they play their JV team?
Yeah, I know. It's going to be ugly.
So, anyways, the noon game on Section Saturday is going to be Prior Lake versus Eden Prairie. We're saying
Good hockey game.
good hockey game. So this one's at Braemar. It's going to be close for 2 periods. You think?
Yep.
And then it might only be close for 1 period. The way Eden Prairie's playing right now, they are playing very, very, very good.
It was daunting what I saw last night.
Their forwards are on fire right now. They just complete control of the game.
The best part is they bring the 2 lines out and then they throw you
Jack
Green,
Olson.
They throw you Jake
Olson.
Olson, Lesko.
Yeah.
Lesko was unbelievable in the first period, and then you didn't see him in the second 2 periods. But he made
Benson's
a
a
huge impact.
fourth liner.
Right,
Like
just is crazy. Yeah, Shavlik. I mean, there's so many good Piowski.
Yeah,
It
Piowski, I love.
I think I'm gonna check Lee's bench. It seems like he's got about 11 guys loaded up for his back 6.
Yeah.
And he just keeps running them out there,
And their D's playing solid. You headed by Lieberman, but Devaney played.
Devaney,
He played well last
Yep.
night. Pager played well last night.
I saw a lot of Corey Shoe last night.
Oh yeah, a lot of shoe. I'm calling him Baby Shoe now.
Yeah, he is Baby Shoe
Baby Shoe.
or Big Shoe.
No,
Little
no,
Shoe. Little
Shoe. Little Shoe. But I don't see Eden Prairie does not lose this game, and so. And then we got the Minnetonka Holy Family game. This game was close in season for 2 periods, but I think these teams are moving in different directions last night, especially after watching Minnetonka play. I am watching Holy Family play yesterday. This is Holy Family, is going to win this game. So, section final between the two, and we're going to just predict that, okay?
It's the hype of all hypes.
So, we'll talk.
That's the Wednesday, right? And then the
Yes.
East, whatever.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Where I go to St. Thomas Academy.
Right.
So, this, if you're going to stay in the Metro for Section Saturday, you'll see some good games,
Yeah.
but you know who's going to win.
Yep.
Section 3 AA. Okay, St. Thomas Academy is easily going to get by whichever town, East Ridge or Apple Valley, comes and plays them. Rosemount Egan is kind of a good one, but I see Egan coming through that.
Yep.
Which should be a good game, feisty game between St. Thomas Academy and Egan because those kids know each other pretty well.
Yep.
Eastview plays Jefferson.
Now, why was that the Jefferson Eastview game when they played the regular season? It was a 1-goal game. One of those games could have gone either way. I still think Eastview's 60-40 in this game.
I think Jefferson has a chance in this.
Very well, but again, I'm not as optimistic as you are.
Park Cottage Grove and Hastings winner will play Burnsville. So Burnsville will play Eastview
or
Jefferson. And I see if they play Jefferson, Burnsville wins.
Yep.
If they play Eastview,
You like Eastview?
I like Eastview.
Yeah, I like that. I like that pick too.
I don't. This one's a toss-up.
I think Jefferson poses Eastview more problems than Burnsville does. Isn't that weird?
That is weird.
But Burnsville causes more problems for Jefferson.
Yeah.
I think it's accurate. Very accurate.
Yeah, and so Section 3 AA traditionally, no matter who's in the section, always sees some weird upsets, and I think the upset that we'll see this year is the Jefferson upset.
Beating Eastview?
Beating Eastview.
Okay.
And they'll give Burnsville a run, I think.
Yeah, Burnsville just killed them earlier.
Yeah,
it was ugly.
I think it's just those teams normally play each other pretty well in section time.
Yep.
And they're close enough
They
towns.
have a lot of tradition in the last 10 years of playing each other.
Yeah.
Some really heated Saturday afternoon games. So, yeah. You're right.
I could see it happening. But see St. Thomas coming through and whatever comes through down below in the bottom half of the bracket.
St. Thomas won't be tested until the final game.
Yeah.
And they will get tested. I'm not saying they're
And even
going to
then, maybe
lose,
not.
but I think they will get tested.
Yeah,
By any of those 4 teams, they'll get tested by 3 teams: Jefferson.
they'll get
Eastview,
tested
or
because their
Burnsville.
sticks will get tighter.
Yes.
And that's just the way it is. These are teams that are
Section
larger.
final.
Yeah, and they're larger than St. Thomas physically. It's just they will get tested that way.
Yep.
Okay. Do we want to talk about 4 or just postpone that conversation because they don't know how to schedule their section?
Right. We should just boycott them.
Right.
Boycott them.
Yeah, boycott. Okay.
No.
Don't talk to us. Yeah. Move on.
I like Stillwater.
I do
Give me
too.
some of those middle games. I think White Bear's in there.
White Bear Tartan is interesting. You know. No? Okay. Roseville versus Hill.
No.
No.
Not interesting.
Matamidi versus Mounds View.
Montgomery
Or
is
not
in the
Matamidi.
section.
Woodbury.
Although
Woodbury.
They could be soon.
They could
Woodbury,
be.
no.
No. So I see Stillwater versus Mounds View and the Hill Murray White Bear Lake. Who comes out of the Hill Murray White Bear Lake game?
Hill Murray.
You think it's going to be Hill
Yes.
still? Carl, you think it's going to be Hill?
Yeah, Hill in 7 overtimes when they win 1-0.
It will be 1-0. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's going to be a
yeah.
weird game.
2 great goaltenders. I think Pronto could have been, or Isley should have, are a better choice over McEwen for Brimley.
Yeah,
by
I
the
do.
way. I know it's not
And-
part of this discussion, but I was like, he's been really good this year.
But like I said, it's a Lifetime Achievement Award is how they define that award.
Yeah, but Cade McEwen hasn't
And I
played. He
also
didn't
think
play
that-
until this year.
But it is referring to bantams.
You're going to go back to 8th grade?
If you look at them, I think they've taken someone from Class A every year. I think they take 1 AA and 1 A. So
Oh,
that's
I
probably
see
what
what you're
it
saying. Sure. Okay,
Yeah.
fine. And no
Yeah, yeah,
slam
I'm
on
sure.
Cade McEwen, but, I mean, their team is winning handily.
Yeah.
Games handily.
Well,
He's not even tested.
He's not his save. It's an inflated stat. His save percentage and goals against because they have some of the best defensemen and best forechecking in the state.
Yeah, I'm going to be in Hermantown tomorrow, and McEwen's going to deck me with his goalie stick. I can feel it now.
But it's not like he's not a bad goaltender. It's just
No.
it's
It has nothing to do with his ability.
no.
I just don't
His
think.
stats are not reflective as Jake Bagley's are.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on. So
5AA.
Yeah, 5AA. We'll talk more about 4AA when it happens because it doesn't happen forever. 5AA. Centennial versus Osseo. Easy
No.
win for Centennial. Champlin versus Anoka.
Champlin.
You think Champlin? Having seen Anoka, I'm going to say Champlin too. Blame.
They tied near the end of the season, so I'll take it okay for fun.
Oh, the Tornadoes. Okay, Blaine versus Maple Grove will probably be their semifinal game. We're gonna hold
That's
table
a good game.
table that discussion, right? Or is that one of our pick'ems?
That is not
one of our pick'ems,
because
right now.
we all agreed that Maple Grove would win that game.
Yes.
So if we had a straight across the board on that one, we all think Maple Grove's going to win. Although I think it's a major pothole for Maple Grove to get over because that's not an easy game.
Well, here's the other thing. If we remember a couple of years ago, Champlin Park beat Blaine in the semifinals. 5AA has some weird stuff always happen. The best team,
Well,
last
last
year,
year was the
yeah.
weirdest.
best team never comes out of 5AA. Okay.
No.
And so I still see Maple Grove possibly coming out of this, and then playing like an
I don't-
Anoka or
Disagree
Champlin.
with you. I still think Centennial is the best team, preeminent team, and it's not even close. But I think at the end of the day, we want to see a Maple Grove Centennial final.
Yeah, but
Gotta see. I just don't think it's going to happen though.
I don't think it's going to happen.
That's why, again, the history of 5AA
LA
is
is-
why I still look when I see that Blaine Maple Grove game. I'm like, this isn't going to end well for Maple Grove.
Well, and what scares me is Centennial has not really. Whenever I've watched them this season, they don't play 3-period hockey.
Or they never put teams away either.
Yeah, and so
Except Maple Grove, 5-0.
But a lingering team that wants to win, like a Anoka or Champlin, is definitely not something that you want to play come section time, and that's what really makes me nervous
I like
on that side
call.
of the bracket.
I like that call.
Okay, 6. Edina smokes Hopkins because they smoked them 10-0 earlier in this week. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a non-discussion.
Okay, Benilde St. Louis Park is probably where I'm going to be on
Yep.
Thursday.
I like this game's always good. I mean, I'm talking about the 4-5 game and 6 AA
is always good.
Game. I remember a Hopkins Wayzata game a couple years ago.
And Holy Family versus Benil,
Benil,
the
yeah.
fight that broke out. Yeah, this is a
Yikes.
good game.
Yikes.
This one should be entertaining. I think it's going to be higher scoring than 4-1. And I'm going to pick St. Louis Park again coming out of this. I just,
It's not on our list. I wish I could put it on there so I could get easy money on you.
yeah, well, the whole season's
like-
been easy money.
I like Benilde in this one.
Okay.
I think they're they're playing better of late, so I think I like them better.
Nope.
Yeah, you like Benil too, Carl?
Yeah.
Okay, next one. Wayzata plays Robbinsdale, Armstrong, Cooper. Wayzata,
Cavalieri goes back against his old team,
and it's going to be a 2-1 game.
going into the third period.
And then Cretan plays Holy Angels. Cretan comes out of that one.
Yes.
I think Wayzata beats Cretan in this. I think Wayzata is playing
That's the
good.
best game of the
Big
Big
Braemar.
Braemars. I think that's
It-
the most I have no idea who's going to win that game. I have no clue.
But
that should be on our list.
That should have been on our list.
That's a
Sorry.
game, one of those. Yeah, I can win some friends back from Cretan. I'll just go, I like Cretan. But I don't know. I really don't know who's going to win that game.
Okay, I pick Wayzata. I think Wayzata has been playing better. I think those are kids that have been to state. You just have to look at all those factors. Though Cretan is prone to upsets in sections, I don't think they do it against Wayzata.
I full disclosure, I think, and I'm not sure if I know. I don't have this for fact. I'm not registered as complete, but I think that Mike Magnuson is out for the year. They're a great goaltender.
Oh, really?
So I think that's a huge, huge factor. You could probably check the stats, Carl. If you want to check the stats, see if did they play
Yeah, I could do that.
Sunday? They played Saturday, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
Against Holy Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, they struggled with Holy Angels. Yeah.
So that could be why.
Yeah, if you want to check to see if he actually registered the game, registered stats, but that doesn't
No,
mean
it's
anything.
someone
It's an
else.
end of the season meaningless game too.
Yeah.
But I think I heard he was injured against Stillwater in the second period, so
He did not play against Holy Angels.
I
Yes.
think that's trouble for Wayzata. I mean,
Or
for
Cretan.
So-
And here's Wayzata is my dark horse Franklin Pierce candidate
oh
to
goodness.
make the tournament.
Oh goodness, wouldn't that be awesome?
10-win team in the tournament.
I can see them making the tournament.
That would
It's
be
very possible. It is
It's very possible. I didn't see the 1-0 Edina game. I'm assuming Edina just
Kept
shellacked them, but they couldn't score.
And they kept to the outside.
Yeah, but I think that you're right. And they've played twice in the last 3 weeks. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
familiarity.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're on a big sheet. Who's used to the big sheet? Why is
Is
that?
that it? Yeah, or the team that
Or
practiced
Edina.
is that big on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is they're my dark horse pick right now to make the tournament.
It's a really tricky, good one. I like
Yeah.
that one.
Okay, 7 AA. Well,
Oh, yeah.
looking at it, Grand Rapids doesn't have to play Forest Lake, so that's a victory for Grand Rapids. But
One game is going to always haunt you, isn't it?
dude, it wasn't one game. They always
twice.
play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's twice.
Oh, they lost them twice?
No, they've barely beaten
Yeah,
them.
yeah,
Twice,
Yeah,
yeah.
the upset happened twice.
Yeah. And so, anyways, they actually Rapids has to play Andover, who they've lost to in the season.
Tied.
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 3. Sorry, my bad. Tie to Andover in my books when your Grand Rapids is a loss. Okay,
Just wait. I'm telling
Okay.
you, Andover is going to be the king of this section someday.
that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm not okay with Andover beating Grand Rapids in the quarterfinals.
No, I don't think so.
And so we're primed for an Elk versus Rapids semifinal game, which we're not going to talk about. We're saving that for the pick'ems, okay?
Yes.
Then we're primed for a Cloquet versus Duluth East game.
Carl, the floor is yours.
Yeah, well, first of all, I wouldn't guarantee Cloquet beats Marshall, too, because they've had two fairly close games this year, so that 3-6 game could be interesting. But you think Cloquet play? Cloquet certainly looks better than they have all season long. They applied a lot more forechecking pressure against Rapids on Tuesday than I'd seen all season long. But at the same time, East beat them 5-1 and 5-0 in regular season games. It is a big rivalry, so crazy things can happen, but I think East is feeling pretty good about that one.
He was not listening. He must have turned down the volume
Well,
when I was
during
talking about
the Jamie
Langer-Brunner
time.
speech.
Yeah.
He must not have heard that. I like this. That could be the upsets of all time Saturday if Cloquet beats East.
Here's the crazy thing. Cloquet could make the tournament.
Oh, yeah.
They have one of the easier tracks right now to make the tournament.
Easier track being Duluth East and Elk
What's
River.
easy about that?
No, because it
The first
depends
one
what
gets up, too.
happens in the Elk game. You guys, shut up for 1 second. If Rapid,
Yeah, we beat Duluth East and Elk River. It was the easiest route ever.
no. If they beat East and Rapids beats Elk, they have one of the easiest mindsets to go to the tournament.
Oh, because they have already just
Beat.
beaten Grand Rapids. Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
give you that,
where
but
I'm-
still.
Uh,
Rapids
okay.
coming in with once Rapids wins 2 or 3 in a row, they get so confident. It happened to them in Bantams. They won the state tournament. They went on a roll. I still think that Rapids can be in the state tournament.
Okay, well, we're
Yep.
holding that, tabling
Yes.
that one. Okay, talking about a section that I have no idea what's going to happen.
And we haven't all year, but I think the cream has risen to the top.
Yeah,
With Moorhead.
yeah.
We agree that Moorhead is number one. This section goes through Moorhead.
Yeah.
So convinced. Yeah.
Well, okay. Moorhead's going to beat Rogers. I'm pretty convinced of that. I've seen Rogers play. Not much there compared to Moorhead. We're going to skip Brainerd Bemidji, right?
Correct, because that's one of our games.
Roseau should beat Buffalo, but Buffalo
No
could
guarantee, but I'd say 70-30. Yep.
70-30 there. St. Michael should beat St. Cloud.
70-30.
Or 70-30.
Yeah.
St. Michael and Roseau? Who wins that game?
St. Michael.
St. Michael does?
St. Michael did lose Mitch Borgery for the season,
Yep,
so
I think he
That doesn't
left.
affect
I think he
me.
left the team.
yeah.
He didn't injure himself. He left the team, and he
No, he
was.
left.
I
Yep.
saw them play 3 times in the Schwann Cup. He was their best player,
Yeah.
most effective
Yeah.
player.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know
and
what.
The game with Roseau was close, but they will be at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they play at the high seed, so that will be at St. Michael
Yep.
if Roseau plays. I wouldn't put it by Roseau, though.
I still think I like St. Michael.
Okay. I think
I think it might be an
goaltending.
addition by subtraction kind of thing. And Borgery leaves, it probably could maybe help them. You know,
Yeah, it could.
there's a lot of teams out there with one guy leaves the team, all of a sudden, all right, let's have some fun, let's go win some games, kind of thing. So I think that could be the case with Borgery, but I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know that team well enough to make an accurate
Right.
statement on that.
Right.
Okay. That's
Eight
double
at
A.
double A, all
That's
right.
double A hockey.
All right. If we had sound effects, there would be trumpets. There'd be all kinds of like congratulatory music coming
Congratulations,
through.
you won.
You put 10 for
It's a
10.
parade, right?
Yeah, there'd be parade music.
Okay, so a little background on this is Mr. Hockey got released this week,
January 22nd.
January 22nd.
January 22nd, the group here that you're listening to went 10 for 10 for Mr. Hockey finalists.
And no, we listed off a group of like
20 other players.
Yeah.
So we didn't just gloss over. We didn't have the answers in the back of the book. We picked this almost in a full month in advance. So I was pretty excited. Carl was.
Yeah, I was
really excited. It made my day that day. That's for sure.
I was recruiting at the University of Nebraska Kearney, and my phone starts going off with you guys texting me. And I was like, okay, I got to go to the bathroom.
I gotta see what's going on.
And so,
Something's going on in the hockey world.
because my phone was going nuts. And so that was really cool to see. Okay.
I think one of the reasons I think it's so cool is, and again, if you're a Hill Murray fan, you want to maybe plug your ears here, but last year the committee chose Casey Stom, and I didn't think Casey Stom was worthy. So there's always going to be a freckle or a
Yeah.
pimple that comes in on this top 10. This year they got it right. I think they nailed it. There's
Yeah.
a couple out there that didn't get in the top 10, but I think we were.
I think you can, and when we argued it, we could alternate like a Bauer Newdecker for Robbie Stucker,
Yep.
or a Casey or Keaton Pearson. But I'm looking at the list right now. Like Bukestad, I didn't think like right now doesn't really stand out to me as a
No.
Mr. Hockey candidate.
No,
Those
no,
would be
good
the-
hockey player, though.
Great
Oh
hockey
my
player.
gosh.
Yeah, good hockey player. But looking at the list, completely happy with what we chose.
And I couldn't be happier that Bauer Newdecker got the.
Really?
The
That's not a
recognition.
surprise from coming from you.
I'm a big Bauer fan. I like the kid. I like how he plays.
Okay, if the Mr. Hockey, I'll read them off real quick. So we got Casey, Dylan Sandberg, Nicky Lieberman, Matt Anderson, Noah Cates. Who am I looking at? Micah Miller, then Nick Perbix, and Ryan Sandlin, Ben Myers, and Bauer Newdecker. Okay,
That's
if
it.
those are Mr. Hockey candidates, who are Mr. Hockey uncommitted?
Oh yeah.
Who
So
are-
we've
who's our-
already declared that Casey is Mr. Hockey, right?
Yeah, I don't think Casey was Mr. Hockey when he was a freshman.
I think he was Mr. Hockey in May when he elected to come back.
Yeah.
Let's go with the like you said, just like, who are the guys that like didn't make this list, but are kind of like head scratchers? Like, how come this kid isn't
Yes.
committed to a college? There's plenty of guys on here that aren't committed to colleges, but in the list that we went through, but there's just a few that stand out to you. Carl, you want to go first? Let's hear who yours is.
Sure, I'm going to go with Matthew Stanton from Stillwater. He's a player who I think stuck up on a lot of people. I think he looked really good last year, but he was anchoring Stillwater's third line. He didn't put up a ton of points, but this year he's been playing with Noah Cates a fair amount, and he really had a huge breakout year. So I think he'll end up somewhere sooner or later.
He's a great shooter.
He's like 6'3",
Yeah.
right? That's the
Big
other
player.
thing. He's huge.
Yeah, he's got a future in Division I hockey without a doubt. Danny, who's your choice?
I'm gonna go Robbie Stucker from St. Thomas Academy.
Homer pick.
Yes and no.
Just kidding. I love him too.
But somebody was telling me, I think a scout for somebody, who was saying like the Finale should play Stucker as a forward, and I said no, Stucker's not a forward. He's actually a defenseman,
Yep.
and he's very effective as an offensive defenseman in St. Thomas Academy system. St. Thomas Academy normally has an offensive defenseman for them, and so that's I think Stucker. 6'3", he's got some size. He's already like the third best Minnesotan right now playing in high school hockey on the midterm scouting report. He's getting a lot of looks, and he'll go committed somewhere, and I bet it's probably going to be like the U or something like that, just judging the way, like his size and the way he plays.
Yep, the way he plays. He's got a lot of versatility, that's for sure. And mine, we saw him last night. It's Hunter Johannes from Eden Prairie. He's an agitator, right? So for sure he's an agitator. But he puts up big points. So he's top 3 on their team in points. And he's got amazing skill. So it's kind of one thing when you see all the agitation that he does out there, you neglect to see, a lot of people neglect to see all the different physical skills he had. He did a Dennis Savard spinorama
spinorama. That was
last night.
really nice.
He knows the game really well. He's a 3-year letterman at Eden Prairie. I think this is a kid that's definitely like, I'm shocked he's not a Division I.
I think 2 years or 1 year in juniors, and that kid's going to be so much faster, so much more skilled, and when he comes and plays wherever he commits to, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
I agree. Good segment there. I like that one. Now, let's switch gears and move on to the Class A. And we'll start down in Southern Mini. In 1A, you have that one in front of you?
Yeah, I do. This one's probably the biggest section in all.
This is a 12-teamer?
This is a 12-teamer. So we have a possibility. Northfield's the number 1 seed. They'll play the winner of Austin versus LeSueur, Henderson, St. Peter.
Holy smokes.
So Northfield's going to win that game.
Yes.
I don't know who they're going to play. And Mankato West will more than likely play Mankato East, which should be a fun matchup at all seasons.
Yes, I would lean towards East in this one, even though they're the lower of the 2 seats.
But yeah, West was in the tournament last year,
Yep.
correct? So
Yep.
I don't know how much they're returning off of that team, but
Not much.
not
Not
much.
a lot.
And they lost one of their better players to U16
okay.
Omaha.
And then Red Wings, the 3 seed, they'll play the winner of Albert Lee versus Faribault. I see Red Wing probably coming out of
Yep.
that.
Yep.
And Lords will play Waseca or La Crescent. Lords should come out of that. Are we seeing a Lourdes versus Northfield final, or do you think a
Yes.
Mankato's going to sneak in there?
No, I think Lourdes wins this whole section. I think they're going to go. I think they'll
Spaniel?
be back in.
Spaniel's going to get them going?
Yep, I think they're back in.
Okay.
They've played so much tougher schedule than anyone else in this section, so I feel a lot more
Agreed.
battle tested.
Yeah, that's, again, where we talk about strength of schedule and that plays session importance when it comes down to this. Okay, 2A. This is where it gets interesting, okay, in
Really
class.
interesting. This is the best section, I think, top to bottom. I mean, they have
Yeah.
6 teams that are good hockey teams that play
Yeah.
tough schedules.
Yeah. Okay, Delano plays the winner of Kennedy versus New Prague. I see
Next.
I see Kennedy actually winning that game.
Oh, Kennedy New Prague? I don't know. Yeah, sure. I'll go with that.
And Delano comes out of that one easily. Mound West Tonka versus Blake.
I like Blake.
I like Blake too. I think Sasha's going to have a big game in that one. And then we're going to skip Orono, Minneapolis.
That's in our list. Yes.
That's in our pick'ems. Providence, Waconia will then play Breck. It doesn't matter.
Providence will beat Waconia.
Okay, and then Breck's going to beat them.
Correct.
Do we see anything other than a Delano Breck final?
No.
But will the quarterfinals and the semis be fun to watch?
Semis?
Semis, the Blake Delano, Breck versus
No.
Orono, Minneapolis.
No.
Okay.
No. Breck is superior. These two teams are superior teams in Class A.
Yeah.
And the fact that they have to play each other is almost as bad as Breck Blake girls, but not as bad.
Not as bad. Should be a great section final game, but we'll come back to this section in a bit when we do our pick'ems. Now 3A. Bum, bum,
Can we
bum.
boycott this one?
No, we
boycott
can't.
this
Okay. I am going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say
I'll take-
Litchfield.
I will take to win the whole thing.
I'm taking Litchfield to win the whole thing right now. The Dragons.
No, I don't
Dragons.
think are they even in the top 4?
They're 3.
They're 3.
They're 3.
I didn't have them that high. Someone snuck in it. Like Marshall got 2.
2?
I didn't think that was worthy at all. I thought I saw these sections and went, "Oh man, there's probably some people screaming on the 3A
Yeah, 3.
forum thread because I don't think this one lined up at all."
I think Litchfield.
I thought New Ulm had the better wins of all the teams in the section, but they didn't do well against Laverne. So I thought they were 1-2. Did New Ulm come out as 4?
Yeah, they came out as 4. They play
Oh, my
Hutch.
goodness. So anyway, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to go Laverne. I'm just going to keep throwing the Laverne card down until it wins.
Yeah, it'll eventually work, right?
It doesn't
I'll do that
work.
too.
It doesn't work though, Carl. Laverne doesn't do it for this section.
I'm eventually going to win.
No, that's where I'm gonna go. Litchfield, Dasso, Cocato, the Dragons.
I'm the little old lady who puts my chips on that little green 13 and just let it ride every year.
The Dragons are going to be back in the tournament. They had great flow last year, and that's
Some of
what's
the best. A lot of those guys are gone, though. I mean, I don't think this is one of Litchfield's better teams. They have some good youth that are coming up, but this is a down team. I think Laverne is still the best team in this section.
Yeah, but the best team never comes out of this section.
Agreed.
This is
Agreed.
another one like 5.
Here's another really good section, by the way, coming up.
Okay, St. Paul Academy in 4A, the number 1 seed, plays the winner of St. Paul Highland Park, which still has a team,
Yes.
mind you, which is kind of cool.
Right.
Yep.
And it's Simley. I see probably Highland Park coming out of that. And Totino plays Minnehaha. I actually can see Totino coming out of this game.
Yep, I do too.
Just the way that Minnehaha is playing down the stretch. St. Paul Johnson got the 3 seed. They play South St. Paul. This is a great
Old school.
game.
Yeah, it'll be a great game in 1967.
Jesus, Carl.
That's when I was born.
Just throwing darts right now. Okay. And Henry Sibley plays Matamidi. Sibley does not have the talent level of Gallagher that they did last year. This is going to be Matamidi versus, who do you guys think, South St. Paul or Johnson?
Johnson.
Johnson, okay. And then I see Totino playing St. Paul Academy, but end of the day, it's going to be Matamidi versus St. Paul Academy, as I see it right now.
Yeah, no arguments here.
Yeah.
No arguments here.
This is a fun section though.
Yeah, any good there's be some good quarterfinal games there.
Yeah, so the quarterfinals that I'm looking at would be that Totino,
That'll be a good
Minnehaha, and the South St. Paul versus St. Paul Johnson should be a fun one.
Again, and no slam on Totino. These are kind of two programs that are going in opposite directions. Totino is kind of slowly but surely coming back to the pack. Private school, northeast suburbs.
Yeah.
And Minnehaha is kind of growing and coming up. So it's kind of two ships passing in the night. If Minnehaha can win, this will be a feather in their hat moving forward.
Well, when you look at teams to have a section win or to get somewhere in sections is actually a big deal.
Building block.
Yeah, it's
Agreed.
A team that makes it to the Elite Eight, like the George Washingtons of the world, that means a lot. George Masons.
George Mason. Yeah. So another thing about Minnehaha, they've won a lot. Their football team, this co-op thing they put together with Blake and SPA, their baseball teams had a lot of success. There's a lot of good athletes in Minnehaha. Their basketball team is doing well. So there's some momentum at that school moving forward at this level.
And to be a 4 seed, that's pretty good. Okay, now 5A. Okay, so we look at the number 1 seed. Mammal.
It's about time.
It's about
How many years
to make that noise?
how have you been screaming for Mammal to win this section,
Mammal.
and they haven't been able to pull it off?
So Mammal will play the winner of Moose Lake, Becker, Big Lake. So a Lake school will win that one. But Mammal should win that one. They'll play the winner of Princeton versus Pine City. Princeton in that one. And then the Chisago-Mora matchup, Chisago. And North Branch gets the 2 seed.
Which was another one of those head scratchers.
I
I
know.
looked down at the seeds come out. I'm like, North Branch wasn't even in my top 4.
And
from a victories perspective, or quality wins, they don't have any.
I don't get that. That one, when I saw it, it was just like, okay. I could see Chisago being the 2 seed, or even Princeton, sneaking into the 3, but that was a head scratcher.
Yep.
So North Branch will play the winner of Sauk Rapids versus Legacy Christian Academy. So Sauk should come out of that.
Yep.
And North Branch and Chisago are on a collision course. And Mammal and Princeton I see Princeton coming out of that game up top.
Mammal and Princeton?
I think Princeton.
No. Mammal is the class of this. They will make their first state appearance.
Really?
Yes.
You're picking the Mammal.
The Mammals will.
Mammal.
They will make it this year.
I want them to, because then what will be your favorite chant at the tournament? Mammal.
I have no idea. Yeah.
Their student section dresses like a zoo.
Daryl. Mammal. I kind of like that.
And then they dress like a zoo.
Yes, they're a bunch of mammals.
They're a bunch of mammals.
Yes. Now the next best section. I think this from depth. This is another one of those very deep sections. I would love to see some of the teams in 6A be shifted to 5A to create some balance.
Yeah, the competitive balance. You move. So Prairie Center beat Breckenridge. So Wapping. Okay.
Just try it. Try saying Wahpeton 3 times.
Wahpeton. So St. Cloud Cathedral's the number 1 seed. They should come out of that pretty easily. Fergus plays Little Falls. That's a pretty good game.
That's a really good game.
Yeah, that one's a toss-up, I think, in my book.
On the 4-5?
That's the 4-5.
Yeah, Fergus has only been good against Alex and nobody else in this section. They were hoping for Alex. I'm convinced of it. Didn't get him. So I'm going Flyers.
Tony Couture, right?
Yeah.
That's the coach?
Yeah, coach. Yeah, he's a goaltender at North Dakota.
Yeah, and then Sartell plays River Lakes. See Sartell coming out of that one. And Alex plays Wadena Deer Creek. So see St. Cloud coming out on the top side of this bracket, but we'll come back to the second half of the bracket shortly.
Yes.
Okay, 7A. Hermantown's going to win it.
Can we just move to 8A?
Okay, no.
What's there to discuss?
What's there to discuss?
The seeding process, maybe? North Shore.
Is there anything up in Duluth?
I thought.
Carl, is there anything up in Duluth that says that something different's going to happen?
No, there isn't. I do think the 2-3 game, assuming it's Hibbing and Greenway, that should be a very good game.
Hibbing Greenway is good. Who's the 4-5 game?
Virginia Eveleth.
Virginia and Eveleth, which is a good rivalry. That'll be a good game too.
That should be a fun game to be at.
That would be that's a fun game to be at. Where is that game?
Miners Memorial.
So they play
Virginia.
at home. Okay,
Yeah. So, that would be a fun game. Look at how the Mighty have fallen, though. Denfeld has to play Proctor as a buy-in game.
Yeah, that's deserved. That's deserved. Where did I Falls fall?
7.
7. I thought they beat Greenway.
I know. The 7 for them is a little suspicious.
Well, I thought North Shore too had some good wins too. So I thought they got kind of slighted as well.
Yeah, I thought International Falls was playing good hockey.
It's almost like there was a cartel. Like the Greenway. It's like almost like the Greenway, Hibbing, and Virginia coaches got together and said, "Okay, let's pick our teams
So
up."
you're throwing Reed Larson under the
Yeah,
bus.
I think all I still think that Falls and North Shore got way lower than they deserve.
Well, they're not traditional powerhouses, except for
aren't.
the Falls.
Yeah.
So, okay. Moving on to 8A. I think this is going to be a fun one to see what happens. East Grand plays the winner of Park Rapids versus Bagley Fostum.
East Grand.
And Crookston plays the Detroit Lakes. Detroit Lakes is actually the 4 seed.
Yeah, that was another head scratcher.
Yeah, because I thought Crookston was going to grab the 4 seed.
Yep.
Lake of the Woods kind of slid after we kind of gave them a little
Yeah,
love.
we gave them way too much love and they slid.
And they slid. They played Kitchen Central to play War Road. I still see Lake of the Woods coming out of that, but not getting through War Road right now.
No.
And then Thief plays the winner of Northern Lakes, Red Lake Falls.
I like Northern Lakes.
Northern
in that one,
Lakes.
but not over TRF.
No.
No chance.
Who do you like in the War Road Thief River game?
Thief River.
You like Thief right now?
Thief River. Yep.
Okay. And then I think Crookston comes out to play East Grand.
It'll be the same old. Thief
Yeah.
River, East Grand, Prowlers versus Wave.
Or even if it's War Road, it's not a different final that you would normally see.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
And the fun fact, right, Carl? The team that comes out of this session is going to win the first round game of the tournament.
Yep, they always do.
They never have
Always
lost.
Treat any guys. Yep.
No arguments here. That's for
Okay.
sure.
Pick'ems, and then let's
All right.
wrap up some stuff.
All right, so 4 pick'ems to go. We have identified Bemidji, Brainerd, Rapids, Elk River, Orono, Minneapolis, and Alex Sartell. All bring a little bit different flavor. Before we get into that, let's review last week's picks.
Oh,
I
God.
picked 2 correct. Carl picked 2 correct. And Danny, pulling up the rear again, picked 1 correct.
Usual.
The one
So-
that goes to the most high school games in the room.
If you're headed to Vegas with a pile of loot, whatever Danny says, pick the opposite of, and you'll win lots of money.
I have declared shenanigans on this whole process.
They're written down. I mean, the writing doesn't lie.
You guys rigged the system.
Yeah,
You're paying coaches, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because I thought you were suggesting maybe I was using whiteout or something on
No.
my written picks here.
This
each
is
week.
shenanigans.
Okay. All right. So let's start off in Brainerd. Is this Tuesday night, right?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday night. Our guy TJ Madison will be at that game, tweeting and taking some pictures. So I can't wait to see what kind of coverage we can produce for our fans out there. It should be an awesome game.
Yeah, this should be fun.
A lot of talent on both sides of the ice. Who wants to? Carl, I have you listed as the first round picker in this game. Who do you like?
Oof, I'll take Bemidji. I think they're on a roll.
I like that pick as well.
Yeah, I'll gooch them. Because
Really?
now Bemidji's the 5 seed and Brainerd's the 4 seed,
Correct.
okay? But I like Bemidji right now.
So we're going all Bemidji on this one.
History.
Well, one comment on Bemidji before we let them go. I was just looking at their possible road to the state tournament. I think their easiest game could be the section final of the 3 of them, because they have to go to Brainerd, where they've lost to twice in 3 games this year, and then they have Moorhead in the semi if they win that. But then in the final, they've beaten both the Land Rosa recently.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's crazy.
I think
Yeah.
the winner of the Moorhead
Bemidji
Brainerd game.
is the section champ.
Yeah.
Agree with
Unless
Yeah.
something really crazy happens. But yeah, I don't know.
that. All right, now we're going to find out who's picking. Are you picking with your heart? Or are you picking with your head? Okay? Dan, you get to go first. You have the second pick in the second game. The first pick in the second game. Grand Rapids plays Elk River.
So Rapids
Assuming
is
they
the
both win
4
their
seed.
games.
Yeah,
Yes.
Rapids has to get by in the
They'll be in
trap
there.
game that is the 7 AA quarterfinal for them.
Yep.
I'll go Rapids because I think just the firepower, they got to find a way to put it together. I think this is the goaltending favors Rapids. I think forward talent favors Rapids. Defense favors Elk River. But, Rapids normally has Elk's number in this game. I got to go Rapids. It's just an inert pick.
All right.
History and tradition, Rapids.
I'm gonna do my friends at Elk River a favor because I like to do favors.
I just did them a favor, I guess.
I'm gonna pick Grand Rapids too. So, because I always apparently pick against Elk River, so I'm gonna stick with tradition and I'm gonna go Grand Rapids, which leaves the door wide open for Carl to get a free win here. Are you gonna throw the Goocher down on your boys Grand Rapids, or are you gonna pick Elk River?
I'm picking Elk River. I mean, if Grand Rapids can't get past Cloquet's forecheck, what are they going to do against Elk River? I think Elk's going to put 50 shots on goal in this game.
Elks don't have an aggressive forecheck. They're not a hard-hitting team. I think that favors Rapids, and the game was close at Braemar this season.
It was one of the better games of the year.
Yeah, it really was.
That was December.
Oh,
that
my
Rapids is not this Rapids.
Yes, correct.
As of late, Rapids is a lot different team. But I think they get things together.
All right, so our next game is Orono, Minneapolis. But before we pick that, I want to read a quote from their head coach. Mark Parrish's head coach was talking about
At Orono.
At Orono, yes. Mark Parrish was asked on Twitter what his opinion if he's afraid of playing Hermantown if he were to make the state tournament, and he says the only person with fear is the coach. This is about moving up to AA. He's scared he'll actually have to coach instead of easily defeating these weaker programs at the A level. I thought it was staggering to read that a head coach would take a shot at another head coach, especially one who's had such a great track record at Hermantown of building a program that was basically nothing when he got there and is now one of the preeminent programs in the state.
I
Your
think
guys'
it's
thoughts?
I think it's really ballsy. And, Hermantown doesn't traditionally play well against 2A opponents.
What do you mean?
I mean,
Like
they keep
this year or the last 2 years they've had some great success,
but
including beating
Wayzata.
state champion Wayzata.
on home ice from a fluke goal. You and I both were there, okay?
That was a fluke goal. Agreed, it was a fluke goal.
But, okay, I think there's a fair point to be said about this because the way Bruce Plant coaches his team right now with his aggressive forechecking, you can't do that in 2A.
And win a lot.
And
Correct.
win a lot of games. I think they're a 5-loss team in 2A if they play a 2A schedule. Okay, they're a 5 to 7 loss team.
So let's take a vote. I think I know what Carl's like. Do you like what Mark said, or do you not like what he said?
I like what he said because
Okay.
I think that
You're the rabble-rouser on the show, aren't
yeah,
you?
and I think what good for Mark for saying something that he believes. That's where I like, and it gets his team behind him. I think that's as a motivating coach, that's where I think Mark's very good at that.
I'm going to take the flip side of this, and I'm not going to say anything about Coach Plant. Everybody knows where I
Yeah.
stand on him. think
I
he's
love
a great,
Coach Plant.
Great coach. My take is Mark has never been there as a coach. Bruce has. And my dad always taught me, when you score a touchdown, act like you've been there. And he's not acting like he's been there as a coach. And Mark actually has himself on a really bad pedestal right now. He'll have, after Orono's Bantam team wins the state tournament again this year, next year he'll have 3 classes of Bantam Class A state championships. You can't get it any better from a talent perspective. If he doesn't go to state or win state or get out of that tough section, people are going to be saying, "What? Maybe Mark was one of those great players but not great coach guys."
Ooh.
So he's he's setting himself up, in a really tricky territory.
But I think Mark's the type of person that's willing to put the chips on the table.
Yep, absolutely.
Carl, what's your take on this before we move on?
I'd say I have a fairly similar take to Tony. I think I don't mind trash talk, but you have to be able to back it up. And at this point, I don't think Mark Parrish has done enough to back it up.
That was my take too.
Yeah.
Thank you for taking my words and making it sound a lot smarter. Appreciate that, Carl. All right, here we go. Orono, Minneapolis. I already Danny, you have Minneapolis down in your pre-pick. Are you going? Are you going to go change? In
No,
that pick?
I like Jake Hale in this game.
right.
I've seen both these teams actually play this season, and I think Hale's going to have a couple goals, and I think that's going to be the difference maker.
How funny is this? I go against Mark
Mark
Parrish
Parrish.
and what he says on Twitter, but I'm going to pick his team. You go for Mark Parrish, but you pick against him.
Well, here's the thing: when it comes down to section time, you want the best player on the ice. Minneapolis has the best player on the ice.
Agreed.
That's a difference maker. And I think when you want somebody to score, when St. Thomas won its last state championship, they won because Tommy Novak was a stud. Okay, and whenever they needed Tommy that season, Tommy scored. And you have to look at those players, in playoff formats to stand up, and Jake Hale's going to stand up.
All right. Carl, your pick,
I'm going Orono.
which pretty much means Orono's going to win.
Yeah.
Yep.
When
Basically.
Carl and I align, it's right almost like 87% of the time.
Oh, I really like you guys.
That's how down you've been this year.
Thank you.
All right, final game of the 4. I think this is the second. Well, I don't know. The Elk River Grand Rapids game will be really good. But this is one of the better games here. Alex Sartell St. Stephen, 6A semifinal. They line up to play each other. This game, I'm guessing, is played at the MAC. They usually play the MAC on Saturday. This should be a really good game. Carl, you get to go first. Because we're back to the 4th pick. What is your? Who do you say is going to win this one?
Ooh, this is a tough one, but I think Alexandria has more talent than it's going to show up and finally get them back to the section final here.
Yeah, I was talking about this before the show. I think if you look at these two teams, Alex has more talent. Sartell has more experience. What's going to win? Experience or
Experience
talent?
always wins. Experience wins.
So you're going with the Sartell.
The Sabres.
You're going Sartell Sabres, and I'm gonna go with Alexandria on this one. Again, another 2 for Tony and Carl versus Danny, so pretty much guaranteed Alex. Sartell might as well not even get on the bus.
No, come on, Sartell. Show up. Prove them wrong, okay? I am rooting for you very hard right now. Get me out of this hole of
Will you go
pick'ems.
to Central Minnesota to watch this game? Where is
No,
it? When
it's
is it?
it's Saturday at 7.
Is it at the MAC?
It's at the MAC.
Yeah, that's a good game. That's a really good game. I guarantee.
That's the annoying part about Section Saturday is there's so
only
many
go
good
to-
games.
I know.
That
It was-
it's so hard to choose.
Like last year, Wayzata Edina was at the end of the day. I went home. I'm like,
You went
I'm
home after a
overwhelmed.
period.
I'm overwhelmed. I can't take any more hockey. I got to write all these stories and post all these pictures that are coming in from Moorhead and Duluth and
Yeah.
St. Cloud and all the ones I got that day, and I'll get this Saturday. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a fun day of hockey.
It's my favorite
gonna
day
be
of the
awesome.
season.
It is.
And it's just, and I mean, before the show, we're debating where we're going to go.
I
too.
know,
That's
I
the
know.
hard part right now is like, Big Braemar doesn't look as good as it has been in years past. Is it worth driving up to Duluth to catch those games? And then
There's so much good stuff.
if you're down in the South or in Rochester, you're going to see good games. If you're in St. Cloud, you're seeing good games. I mean,
Yeah,
everywhere is good games right now.
I got someone on Twitter in Moorhead. I got someone on Twitter in Duluth. I got someone on Twitter in St. Cloud. Someone on Twitter in Rochester.
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm going to be on Saturday.
No.
Whether it's Big Braemar or even at
Oh,
Inver Grove.
Grove,
So it could be. It's going to be an awesome next 7 days. Next Sunday we'll be back here making our 16 picks for the state tournament.
No, more than that because you got 4 AA.
Oh, we're not. We're still
It's more
picking.
double A.
Losers.
We're still picking, and 2 AA. I think.
Yeah,
We'll
2
have their
AA.
semis,
Yeah.
finals too.
Yeah,
Right.
those happen
2
on
single A,
Tuesday.
I meant
yeah,
2 single A.
2 single A happen on Tuesday, and same with 4 AA with
Yeah.
their semis. Why they have not changed that is
Yeah, the 2A is worse than 4 AA. I think
yeah.
because I don't mind having another section final night where you get to
Yeah,
game in.
I'll agree. The
But
Friday.
the Tuesday, Thursday semifinal, final, where that's just not good on the bodies. I don't.
No,
And for great hockey, it's just kind of tired hockey's not good hockey.
well, I won't be there to watch the 2A finals because I'll be in Chicago, so I won't be there. So
Oh, you poor thing. thing.
Yes.
You poor thing.
Traveling back.
Oh,
You poor thing. All right, so we hit 1 hour on the show this week. Lots to talk about.
Yeah.
We apologize. We'd like to get it at 45 minutes. We couldn't pull it off, but a great show nonetheless. Lot of juicy stuff to talk about. For Carl in Duluth, Danny, and much thanks to our sponsor, Mayo Clinic Sports Medicine. I'm Tony Scott. Have a good week.
Last night my kid tore up his league. He had a hat trick right up his sleeve. Coach said he's never seen that. Gemini Athletics gonna have to stitch the C patch. I've got Ferraris, Maseratis, drive all over the place. I drink martinis, never seen these looks all over their face.